you doing out there, my friends? It's the Ozman again. And today we got a special video coming your way. Because today, my friends, as you can see, I'm wearing my Tall WESCOs. But these are the vintage Tall WESCOs, the classic Tall WESCOs. Now, you know what you're saying? You're saying, what are you talking about, Oz? You're talking some crazy language here. This is the ultimate WESCOs. These are your WESCOs you've been wearing all this time. And that's true. But there's a new WESCO in the neighborhood. A new WESCO has come to town to challenge my classic WESCO harness boots here. And that is today is brand new WESCO Tall boot day. Oh yes, my friend, brand new. So let me show you the magic, okay? I'm gonna open up this baby right now, and you're gonna see it. So let me turn this puppy around. Dun 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 dun. What is this? It's WESCO. It's a WESCO box. And what's inside? Uh-oh. 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 Maybe we should just stop the video right now, take a break, have a drink or something. I'm just joking, my friends. I know you want to see the new WESCO. So let's check it out. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. Are you looking at that? Oh my God. Are you looking at this, my friends? Let me move this over here. Let me get out of the light here for a second. Let me give you a good view. Are you looking at that? That's a brand new WESCO Tall boot. It's a Boss boot, even though in the biker world it's really an engineer boot, but WESCO calls them Boss boots. They got their own lingo. I'm not here to judge, my friends. But look at this thing. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 black buckles. Black. I love it. Look at that. Look at this. Look at the bottom. Oh my God. Beautiful. Leather lined. Let me see if I can get this to the light so you can see it. Can you see that? Look at that. Leather lined. Oh. Is that not beautiful? Is that not beautiful? Is this not a beautiful sight? I mean, look at that. Oh my God. Let me put this here. Look at that. Huh? Tell me that's not beautiful. Tell me that. Look me in the face, my friends, and tell me that is not a beautiful sight. WESCO Tall boot, all in black, 18 inches. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh my God, beautiful. Look at that. Oh my God, friends, that's beautiful. So let's see the other one, okay? All right, here we go. Ooh. Sorry, I'm blocking the light. I was gonna do this in the daytime, make this video, but I got home. The WESCO boots were waiting for me right there, my friends. They were waiting for me, calling my name. And I thought, sure, I could wait till, it's nice and sunny outside, or I can make a WESCO Tall boot video right now. I just couldn't hold back the excitement. I hope you're cool with that. Sorry, the lighting is not so great, but I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, look at that. Huh? Are you looking at that? Oh my God. Look at that. Hold on a second. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. Okay, maybe that's not making it better. I was trying. Ooh, look at that in red. I was trying to be creative. There, but it didn't quite work out. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, I bought some new WESCO Tall boots. Let me put this on my tripod here for a second. Hold on a second, my friends. I gotta be expression. I gotta be my Mr. Expression here. Get in this. Okay, my friends. Let me bring this down a bit here. I want you to get the full. All right, my friends. So here they are. Okay, they're beautiful. Look at this. Beautiful. My classic WESCOs and now my new WESCOs. Just gorgeous, gorgeous. And I'm going to be putting them on in a second here. But basically, the boot. Okay, so about a year ago, I ordered these boots. So that was December 2024. And I just got them now. So this is November the 4th, 2025. I almost forgot the year. I'm just so pumped, my friends. I almost forgot the year. And when I first ordered them, I was debating, should I get another pair of tall boots? Because a lot of my friends, they say, Oz, you really got these humongous boots. You know, you're known for your big tall boots. You don't need another pair. And plus I also had my Dehners, which if you watch my Dehner video, those things fell apart. I still got the Dehners, but anyway, I can show you those boots later. But they said, a lot of my friends are like, how many of these tall boots do you need? Come on. And I'm like, and I thought, okay, you're right. So I canceled the order. And then maybe like a week later or something, or a couple weeks later, I just thought, the boot gods are reaching out to me, my friends. They were reaching out to me. And they said, Oz, you must buy another pair of tall boots. It's not debatable. It's like the angels, like the angels came down, the boot angels, and said, Oz, tall boot. So anyway, I decided to buy another pair of tall boots, and I got these puppies. So I just basically called them back. I said, WESCO, I still want my boots. I know I canceled them. I know I canceled the order, but I want them again. And they were like, no problem, dude, no problem. They reinstated my order. And they still said it would take a year. And it did. It actually was a little less than a year. It was about 11 months. So not too bad. A little less than a year, but not too bad. And I just got them. So why don't I put these puppies on, right? I mean, you're probably saying, we all love the classic harness. No one's debating that. No one's debating the classic harness. But we want to see the new boot. One more thing before I put on the new boots. So I love the harness look. So these boots have harnesses, and I love the harness boot. It's always been my favorite type of boot, but the harness. I even have a dingo boot, which I hardly ever wear my dingos anymore, but it does have a harness as well. However, I wanted to order another pair of tall boots, and there was two things I wanted in the second pair of tall boots. One, I wanted it to be an engineer boot. So an engineer boot is a boot that has a buckle down here. So for instance, here are my 11-inch boots, right? So these are harness boots. They're WESCOs as well. These are not custom, they're stock. But see, there's a buckle here and a buckle here. And that is known as the engineer boot. Now, for some reason, WESCO calls them boss boots. I don't really know why they call them boss boots. I mean, ask WESCO. I don't know. I guess I should do some research and figure out why they call them tall boots, but I didn't. But in any case, one thing I wanted was an engineer boot. And then the other thing is, when I ordered these boots, they have two buckles here. But I remember thinking, man, I really would like to have 3 buckles. But once again, I was thinking, 3 buckles, maybe that's too much, maybe that's too extreme. Maybe I should you know, I'm already got these super tall boots. Maybe I should, you know, tame it down a bit, and go with, you know, something more conservative. If you can be conservative with knee-high tall boots, if a man can be conservative, well, even women. Yeah, women wear tall boots, you know, they're also seen as a little bit more of a rebel girl. But, you know, if you're a man with tall boots, people are already looking at you like, you know, unless you're a policeman or you're in the military or something like that. But, so I thought, okay, I'll go a little bit more conservative and I'll just wear two buckles. But I always kind of regretted it because I really wanted 3. So when I ordered this puppy, I said, 1, 2, 3. I want 3 buckles, 3. And actually this one has 4 if you consider this one as well. So that was a big deal to me. The last thing that I want to mention before I switch to this boot is I like square toes. So you see this? This is a square toe. But the engineer boots are rounded. See? They got a round here. But I like the square. So even if you see my current WESCOs, you can see that it's square down there, right? Square. But yeah, so even though most of the time if you see a Boss boot, someone's got a Boss boot from WESCO, even if they had it custom made, a lot of times you'll see it with the round toe. I just, for me, the square toe just is badass. It just says, take no prisoners, badass. And also the other thing is I wanted everything black. When I got this one, they didn't really have a black option at the time. So I just got these kind of dark gold, chromish, dark gold kind of buckles. And as the years have gone by and I've taken them out, they've kind of gone a little bit blackish, but now they have these black buckles. And I said, I want it black. I want those buckles as black as night. And, you know, maybe you're watching this video and you're thinking, Oz, this is a really black boot. You know, wouldn't you want some color? And a lot of men who buy tall boots, they might be more into the peacocking thing, you know, where you really want a lot of color and you want to show everybody that you're fabulous and that you're peacocking, you're styling. But for me, I just like black is just a classic color, my friends. It's just classic. You know, when I was, I remember one time I told this one young lady asked me, she goes, "What's your favorite color?" And I said, "Black." And you know what she said to me? She said, "Oz, black's not a color. Black's the absence of color." And I'm like, well, absence of color or no absence of color, I like black. And I've always liked black. Even my father, I'm going to tell you the story. I'm sorry, I know you want me to put on these boots and I'm going to put them on in a second. But when I was young, well, relatively young, my dad, when I first started driving a car, I said, I want a black car. And my dad said, my dad grew up in the 40s and the 50s, the 60s. And he said, you know, back in those days, nobody wanted a black car. Nobody wanted a black car because you wanted a car that's just, you know, that popped at you. And so everybody had like a two-tone car, a blue, yellow car, red, white car, pink, purple, whatever. But you wanted it to be bright. So when you drove down the street, everybody would say, wow, look at that cool car. You know, it's all so bright in your face. And my dad said, oh, the only ones who ever drove black cars were funeral directors. It was the hearse. That was the only black car that you ever saw. But I said, but Dad, I like black cars. So, and anyhow, my first car was black, my second car was black. I just had tons of black cars. And now I have a black motorcycle. And there's also a joke in the Harley world that goes, who owns the black bike? Because most Harleys are black. There are, of course, Harleys that are different colors, but if you go to a motorcycle event, almost the majority, if not all of them, are black. It's just the go-to color. I think it's classic. I think a lot of people love black. But if you're a person that's thinking about buying some tall boots, and you're saying, "Oh, man, I'm sorry, dude. This is just, whoa, this is way too much black." I understand. Like I said, some people would put like white stitching, or they might put a brown what's the word? I'm already slipping on my mind. Lining, a brown lining in here. Or they might even, you know, pick a two-tone, you could put two different colors here. You can make this black and make this brown. So everybody's got their own style, but for me, I just like black, and I just think it's a cool color. It fits me. I'm all into the darkness. So, and also, if you saw my other video, my Schott P613S video, where I talk about my leather jacket, I'm going to pull that puppy out a little bit later as well. You know, that jacket, one thing that I loved about it was it's completely black. The zippers are black, everything is black. And now these boots and that jacket, it's all, you don't need to say anything more. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to put it on just a little bit so you can see. But anyway, enough talking. Let's put these puppies on. So let me get my boot jack, where the hell I put that boot jack. All right, my friends, boot jack. This, if you get tall boots or even regular size boots, I highly recommend getting a boot jack. It just makes taking on and off the boot way easier. And plus, if you go somewhere and you're walking around all day with your boots, you know, sometimes your feet will swell up, and it's hard to take the boot off when your feet are swelled up, but not with the boot jack. So highly recommend, if you're gonna buy a boot, any boot, even if it's just a cowboy boot, get yourself a boot jack, because it makes life a lot easier. So anyway, if you wonder why I keep moving to the cameras, because my camera keeps shutting off on me, and I gotta touch it in order to get any kind of reaction like everybody else. You know, everybody wants to be touched, or maybe some people don't want to be touched. Well, in any case, I'm digressing. All right, let me get these boots off. But you know, these old WESCOs of mine, they are very comfortable. I gotta tell you, these things, I've had these boots for a good 10 years. I'm gonna leave them over here so you can keep an eye on them. They've just been great. So a lot of my friends, when I told them I'm gonna buy another pair of tall boots, were like, these boots are in great shape. Why do you need a new pair of boots? And it's true. They are in great shape. And actually, WESCO, I could have sent these back to WESCO to have them rebuilt. And it would have cost like half the money that it cost me to buy these new ones. But, you know, where's the fun of that? Where's the fun of that? And plus, these boots, my old boots, are still in good shape. They don't need rebuilding quite yet. But anyway, all right, let's put these puppies on here, okay? Let me bring down this, since I'm sitting down for a second, let me bring this down so you can get a better view. Okay. All right. So let's see how these puppies feel. Now one other thing too I want to point out before I put them on is these are 18 inch boots, 18 inches. And these are also 18 inches, but these here, my old ones, you know, over the years, you know, they've kind of drooped, right? They have this, because, you know, you walk in and then they've kind of gone down, okay? And you'll be able to see this very clearly right now, okay? Because you can see both are 18 inches, but yet, look, one is clearly higher than the other. So this one probably has already dropped to maybe 17 inches. Yeah, it looks like about an inch lower. So this has probably gone down to 17 inches over the years because of the droop. Meanwhile, this is still a full 18 inches. Now, with WESCO boots, you can, oh my God. Oh, this thing is stiff. Stiff and hard. Just like what she told me last night. You can tell I'm pumped up, huh, my friends? Oh, yeah. Ooh, look at that. That thing is on. Look at that. Can you see that? Can you see that, my friends? That thing's going right up to the knee. And it is stiff. Look at that. There's like, it's crazy. I love it, though. I love it. Okay, here, let me move my old one to the side. All right, here we go. Now, there's something about the smell of leather. It's just magnificent. What does the French call it? Magnifique? Magnifique? Is that how you say it in French? It's magnifique. Okay. And I wore blue jeans for this video because I really want you to see the boot. Normally I'd wear black jeans or leather pants, but then I don't know if you can see the boot very well. Plus people have told me, because I don't have a great studio here, that sometimes they can't see the boot clearly enough because my lighting stinks. And I admit it does stink. But anyway, oh yeah, are you looking at this? Oh my God, it's beautiful. Hold on a second. All right, my friends. Oh yeah, are you seeing this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you looking at this? Oh my God, look at that. Oh, they are stiff, but they feel good, my friends. They feel good. Oh my God, I really feel like I can walk or dance or whatever with these things, Oh yeah. I know I'm acting goofy, but no, they feel very, very good. Yeah, they feel great. Oh my God, they feel so good. I think they actually feel better than my old pair when my old pair was brand new. I remember thinking, oh man, they're a little stiff. And they kind of pinched a little bit, but over the years, they broke in pretty nicely. But this one, these already feel like they're ready to rock. The only thing I would say is, I don't think they're quite ready for the motorcycle because of the ankle being kind of stiff. It's stiff right here. So shifting gears, getting onto the brake and all that stuff might be, you don't want to be in a motorcycle where you have any kind of restrictions. So I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe just walk around a lot with these boots, break them in a little bit before I take them on that motorcycle. But there's a lot of clubs and festivals and concerts and this and that I'll wear them to until I finally break in a bit. Let me lower. I'm going to put the camera down the floor so you guys can get a really good shot of the let me see if I can do. I'm going to move this to the side here. Oh yeah. Oh man, I love these things. If you're thinking about buying a pair of WESCOs, you can get them in different, if you order custom, you can get them in different sizes. So there's I think the 11 inch one, the 16 inch, this is the 18 inch, and then you can go to the 20 inch, and then there's I think a 32 inch. 32 inch, goes to about like right there. It's kind of like thigh high kind of a deal. Personally, I think if you're going to order, I would recommend, let me bring this, I'm going to bring this even further down for you guys. I would recommend the 18. Now, some guys will order the 20, but the problem with the 20 is it goes right up to your knee here, right? Like right up to there. And I think it'd be a little uncomfortable if you wanted to walk or, get on a motorcycle or something. Eventually, it would probably droop down to a 19 inch or maybe even an 18 inch, but that would be after a lot of break-in. So it's up to you, of course, but I would recommend going, if you want an 18, to me an 18 inch is a really great size for a boot. Unless you just want a, regular looking boot that's not too in your face, then obviously you can go for an 11 inch. The 16 inch, I guess it's okay, but that to me is not the very ideal size for a boot, just because it's kind of like between a small boot and a tall boot. So it's like, it seems like you don't, what does it want to be? Does it want to be a tall boot or a short boot? So I would recommend either go for an 11 inch if you just want a small everyday kind of boot, or if you do want a tall boot, then I would highly recommend the 18. The 20, it's up to you if you want to go for the 20, but I just think that's a little too much. the 20, not only does it go up to your knee, but it has even more kind of leather that sometimes doesn't look so great. It looks a little kind of goofy in some ways. The 32 inch, the one that goes to your thigh, you know, that's your call if you want to do that. Personally, I think that's more of a novelty boot. You can't wear it on a motorcycle. It'd be way too restrictive. And I'm not too sure what, you know, I guess you could still take it to clubs and things like that, but I don't know. It seems to me like a 32 inch boot would just have less usefulness. I'm just like thinking, well, where would you use this boot, you know? The good thing about a tall boot is that this boot you can use for the motorcycle, you can use for just going out, you can just use for, you know, if you did want to do some outdoor, more rough activities, like for instance, say you want to go hiking, you can use these boots for hiking. You can use them if you're out in the jungle. You know, recently I went to, let me put this back on. I'm going to put this back on my tripod here. All right, so as I was saying, recently I went to the Philippines, and I went there to see a friend of mine, and I was going to I did rent a motorcycle while I was there. And I remember telling him, I'm going to bring my boots, my big boots. And he said, oh, Oz, you know, it gets very hot here in the Philippines. You know, you're not going to want those big boots. Nobody wears those big boots. And you're going to sweat like a pig in them. And I was like, well, I'm going to bring them anyway. And we went out for a ride, and we got caught in one of those monsoons where the rain is coming, blah, 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 blah. And the water got so high that it came up to about right here, right there. And I was glad I had my big boots, because I was like, wow, they worked out great. And meanwhile, he was in his flip-flops. And he got, you know, it was not as comfortable for him. So what I'm basically trying to say is, if you know, tall boots are very versatile. People don't think about it. I know a lot of people, they buy tall boots because they think they look cool, and then they never wear them. Maybe they'll go to a bar one day or something, but they never use them for anything. But you can use them for a lot of stuff. Take them out hiking, go to the Philippines, go to ride your bike, go to the snow. If you live somewhere it's cold, like Norway or Canada, whatever, you know, these boots, I mean, I trust WESCO. WESCO has been, you know, rock solid for me. And I was actually talking to this girl about my plans to one day retire in the Philippines. And she said to me, Oz, why do you want to retire in the Philippines? Why do you want to go to the Philippines? And she's from Minnesota. She goes, move to Minnesota. You'll love Minnesota. And I said, oh, Minnesota? I was like, are you kidding me? It gets colder, it snows and everything. You know what she said to me? She goes, but Oz, you got your big boots. If it snows, you can just wear your big boots. And you know, I was thinking about that, and I thought, yeah, she's right, I could. So anyway, I'm bringing all this up just to let you know that if you want to buy some tall boots, don't think that, oh, let's say you don't ride a motorcycle. And you might say, well, when am I going to wear my tall boots? Dude, there's many opportunities to wear it. Just go out. If you're so shy, you know, I guess you can wear your pants. You can wear your pants over the boots. I personally hate that because it seems like, what's the point? But you know, you could do that for a while to get comfortable. You know, I went up to San Francisco not too long ago, and I wore my boots because I didn't have enough space in my luggage. And I said, okay, I'm just gonna wear my boots. And of course, everybody's looking at me because I got these big, tall boots. But I got so many compliments. People were like, wow, those are great boots. Now, it was a little difficult to get through TSA with them because they, you know, they were like, it had steel toes. These have steel toes. And, you know, the alarm went off. But still, it was cool. Actually, I think it was steel. Anyway, well, actually, it wasn't the steel. I don't think this has a steel toe now. I think, well, maybe it does. Well, I know. I got a feeling it could have been this. Well, this has metal. This thing has metal like crazy. Even though now, supposedly with TSA, you don't need to take off your shoes. But anyway, I had to take off my boots. Long story short. But anyway, everyone just complimented me. So just wear your boots. Don't be embarrassed. I've never had any. Yeah, some of my biker friends will tease me once in a while, but they love the boot. And yeah, I mean, I've never had any negativity at all wearing these tall boots. So don't be shy, okay? And WESCO to me is the best. You know, I have these Dehner boots. They were a huge disappointment. Let me show you. I'm going to show you these Dehners, okay? Just in case you didn't see the Dehner video, I'm going to show you this. Okay. So these are my Dehner boots. And I bought them not too long ago. I want to say maybe 2 years ago. But look, they already falling apart. See this? See that? Can you see that? That's just not cool, you know, not cool. And a lot of people like Dehners because they're shiny, even though I haven't been shining mine up, but I haven't been wearing them anymore because now with the rip, it just looks lame. But the point is, a lot of people like these boots because they're shiny. They have the instep, not the instep, the lacing up here. And they have a very cool military look. But anyway, they're just a disappointment to me because they started falling apart. This part right here is plastic decor material. This is the only leather. I don't know. My feeling, my friends, is if you really want the shiny boot look, because the problem with WESCO's are oil tan, so they have more of a matte look, which I really like. I think it fits my personality more. But if you're a person who really wants shininess, then there's Chippewa, which you can't get. I don't think you can get custom made, but that's a shiny boot. You can get Dehners, but I don't know. I've heard many, since mine ripped, I found out that many people have had this issue. So I don't know if I can recommend Dehners. Then there's a boot called All-American boots. And I've heard good things about All-American boots, so if you are thinking about buying a boot, and you really want it to be shiny, then I would maybe look into All-American boots. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say, well, actually not the last thing. I want to get back to the thing about the boots and where you can wear them and how you can wear them and this and that. And recently I went to Florida, and a friend of mine said to me, I was telling you the story about the Philippines. This is almost a similar story about Florida. So a friend of mine said, Oz, we're going to have this party here in Florida. It's going to be we're all going to wear kinky outfits and leather and this and that. I said, okay, cool. I'll come with my boot and my leather jacket. And he's like, hold it a second there, Oz. Hold it 1 minute. It is hot here. It's hot in Florida. It's humid. You're going to come with these big, monstrous boots and a leather jacket? Matter of fact, I'm going to get my leather jacket right now. Hold on a second. All right, so this is my Schott P613 leather jacket, which I made a video for. It's actually my most popular video here on YouTube. You would think it'd be in the boots because I have most of my viewers are boot fans, but it's this jacket that's actually the most popular of my videos. But anyway, he said to me, hey, you're going to wear this jacket, those boots. In Florida, you're going to sweat like a pig. You're going to be hot. Don't do it, Oz. Don't do it. So, I felt like, okay, I've never been to Florida. He's probably right. Maybe I shouldn't wear all this stuff. So I didn't bring my tall boots. I didn't bring my leather jacket. And I went to this party, and everybody's dressed up. And you know what? I thought I should have brought my boots. I should have brought my jacket. Yes, it was hot in Florida. Yes, it was humid. But sometimes you got to suffer for your art, my friends. You got to suffer. Do you want to look good or do you want to be comfortable? That's the big question in life, right? You want to look good or be comfortable? Rarely looking good and being comfortable go hand in hand. Usually it's one or the other. But anyway, the point is, I remember thinking to myself after that, I'm known here, and most people know me that I wear these big tall boots. A lot of people also know me that I wear a lot of leather. And you know, I just felt weird not having these things. I felt weird not having my boots and my leather jacket. So, you know, if I ever go back to Florida, ever go back to a party like that again, I'm gonna be wearing all of this stuff. I already told him. I was like, dude, I made a mistake not bringing my boots. I made a mistake not bringing my jacket. And yes, I would have been hot as hell. That's true, but you gotta suffer. You gotta suffer for your art, my friends. So, you know, the point is, if you do buy boots, tall boots, just wear them. Don't be afraid of the temperature. If you're somewhere hot, I mean, I have people who watch my channel from Saudi Arabia. Can you get any hotter than Saudi Arabia? And they watch my channel, and I'm assuming they watch it mostly from tall boots, because even though I talk about guitars, I talk about heavy metal, I even talk about leather jackets, I know the majority of my viewers want to see boots, especially tall boots. I've had people ask me for, you know, if I have like a Patreon or a Thirsty Fans page or something like that, because they want to just see more boot stuff. I don't have any of those things. Maybe one day I'll make it. I've been actually thinking about doing like photo shoots, kind of like putting things like on a Tumblr or Instagram or something like that. But, you know, I have so many things going on in my life. I barely have time to make these videos, you know. One guy actually recently said to me, man, it takes you forever to make another video. And I'm like, well, I'm busy. I got things going on. You can't be making videos every single day. But anyway, I'm digressing. Anyway, back to the boots. So I love these boots. They're beautiful. I'm going to wear them. And I highly recommend you buying it. If you do want to buy a pair of WESCO Tall boots, the only other thing I want to say is that it is a long waiting time. You know, you probably have to wait, you know, at least a year, maybe a little less. These boots took me 11 months. And I was actually watching another YouTuber who waited about a year for his boots. He didn't get tall boots, he just got regular boots. But he was complaining that they didn't fit right or this and that. And he's like, oh, I waited a year and they didn't fit right. Well, I waited a year and these boots fit fantastic. Look at that, they're fantastic. I have zero complaints. So, you know, I don't know why he got upset. You know, the people are always upset about something anyway. You know, it's the internet, it's YouTube. What do you expect? But anyway, yeah. Oh, so the boots. So keep in mind, they are kind of, it's a long waiting time. And the other thing too is it's expensive. So these boots cost me, I want to say around $900 with shipping and tax and everything. Yeah, but yeah, I think about $900 when you add it all up. These boots, my old ones, were about, I think about $800. So, you know, not a huge increase with inflation. Those boots are like 10 years old. And then the small one here, they would cost about $600. This is stock. But even if you bought a custom, I don't think it'd be much more. It'd probably still be around $600, more or less. So that's the price range. If that's too much for you, Chippewa is $200. You can even get it a little less on eBay and stuff like that. You might even be able to get it for $150 or even as low as $120, depends where you shop around. That's a good boot too. These Dehners, I think they cost about $400, if my research is right. But I don't, you know, I'm not really recommending Dehners. And the All-American boot, it's been a while since I've looked at the prices for that. But I think it was roughly $700, somewhere like that. But I could be wrong on that one. It's been a while since I've seen the prices for the All-American boot. But anyway, so until the next video, my friends, buy yourself some WESCOs. And I guess I'll see you on the next one. Oh, ride like the wind, don't let that wind ride you. And yeah, let me give you one final pose here with the WESCO Tall boots. Yes, sir. Oh, look at that. Oh. Yeah. You gotta love it, my friends. All right, my friends, until next time, have a good one.